I'm standing before you this morning because I was asked two basic questions and I'm supposed to answer the two questions. Why do I worship here and why do I tithe? I worship here because I find peace in worshiping here, and I tithe because I'm enriched when I'm giving. In a world that is, and I think we sort of heard about that this morning, a world that seems so engulfed with our differences, so polarized around almost every issue, a world where we seem sometimes to be careening towards even worse strife. It is so comforting to be able to retreat to this place and to be bathed in the spiritual majesty and the ritualistic certainty of the service here. And I tithe because we're in a world where there's so much need. And though I, as an individual, like you as individuals, try to make a difference, I know whatever small gift I make will be pooled with the gift of others, not only to sustain this great cathedral, but I trust the individuals here so it will have an impact in the community. To sort of underscore again why I do worship here, I am an Episcopalian. A little bit of an oddity for the community to which I was born. I was born in Washington, D.C. at Freedmen's Hospital. And so my mother was Episcopalian, so my sister and I were Christian as Episcopalians. She died at a very young age, and so my father's family took over, and then we were immersed in the Lutheran faith. And if Episcopalian was odd, that was truly odd. Because in my community, a community of color, overwhelmingly, people were Baptist. But, you know, I managed that, but when I attended Howard, I got more immersed in the Baptist community and the Baptist service. But really, when I got involved in politics, I truly got immersed in the Baptist community and the Baptist service. It was a real experience for me, because when I would speak, I actually got feedback. If I made a good point, somebody would say amen, and if I were on the verge of a good point, somebody would say, well. In the Episcopal Church, it's a little bit more stolid, as you know. But after a while, they would encourage me to speak at different urban communities. I was elected treasurer of the National Democratic Party. So they would dispatch me to urban cities and to the South. And I really sort of learned and got animated by this experience. It all sort of reflects and underscores the answer to my questions this morning. There was an occasion in Washington, D.C., right on the eve of a big election, and I was treasurer now. So I had the great privilege to be up on the stage. I mean, this was really quite a powerhouse group that was speaking to encourage the Democrats to turn out. And to my right, and the speaker who preceded me was Reverend Joe Lowry. And for those of you who may not know him, he was a towering figure in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, a trusted colleague and deputy of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Oh, he got that crowd revved up. They were on fire. So then I had to follow him. Fortunately, some of the training I'd gotten in the interim years. So I have to say I sort of got taken away, kind of got immersed in the moment, and I, sort of was giving it my best. And the crowd happily and the group happily received me well. So when I returned to my seat, Reverend Lowry said, "Little sister, you sound like you've been churched." I didn't quite know how to respond to that at first, and then I said, "Oh, yes, Reverend Lowry, I've been churched." He said, "Well, what are you?" I guess he expected me to say Baptist or AME or Methodist. I said, "Oh, I'm an Episcopalian." He got so quiet. He seemed flummoxed by my response, and then he said, "Little sister, I guess that counts." I worship here on every Sunday and glad to be a part of this great cathedral and this great community. For to me, throughout my life, it does count.